Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the Transformers Legacy Evolution Wave 2 reveals that happened at the Hasbro Pulse livestream on Transformers Tuesday, starting with the very first figure. Here we have the Transformers Legacy Evolution Twincast and Autobot Rewind. This is a Voyager class figure. Let's start off with the basic information. So the release date is June 1st, 2023, and the price is pretty typical for a Voyager, so $35. It's actually kind of nice because he does come with a minicon, and they could have easily upcharged it, but they didn't. And if you're wondering about this figure, this is actually really just a repaint, slight remold of the Kingdom Blaster / Legacy Blaster mold. And of course, there was another version or repaint of that, which was the Shadowglass version, which honestly probably right now is my favorite, but this one might change that. So let's, of course, get into the details and my thoughts. So overall, the deco actually looks pretty cool. I really do like kind of the orange, the blue, and the red. Overall, looking quite cool. He does come with the exact same accessory, the sniper rifle, and the only mold change that we know of, or not I know of, is the head sculpt. So there's actually kind of an interesting story behind this. So when Kingdom Blaster / Legacy Blaster was coming out, on eBay, other stores like that was kind of leaking out. Well, when it first came out, there was the typical standard head sculpt that we're used to with most copies of that. The same head sculpt as the Shatterglass one, but then a few people got a copy of Kingdom Blaster or Legacy Blaster that had sort of this smirking face. So we were kind of like, okay, is this just an accident or is this supposed to be on a different figure? And now we know it's supposed to be on this one. So I think maybe that was just sort of a factory mistake or defect that was not supposed to happen. If you have that copy of Blaster, that's pretty cool because not many other people probably have that. So, overall, as of mold-wise, that's the only change. Moving into some of the other pictures, of course, we do have him in his boombox mode. I'm going to move the screen down just a tad bit so you can see everything. That overall looks quite cool. I've actually really do like this boombox mode. Personally, me, in my opinion, between this boombox of the Blaster mold and the Netflix Soundwave, this is probably my preferred look. I think it looks the best. I love all the knobs and gears, the speakers, and the handle I think is great in proportion. I think probably one of my biggest problems, just going back to the Turn Blaster and Soundwave, my biggest problem with that one is the handle was really weirdly sized. It was too small for how big of the boombox it was. It looked super weird. So this definitely in proportion with the handle and the size of the boombox, I think that looks super cool. Of course, since this is really just a repaint, slight remold of Kingdom Blaster, and has all the same features, so the rifle can store on the back. You can store the Autobot Rewind inside of the little cassette tape area, and of course, if you press that button right there, it'll open it up, which I always thought was a pretty cool feature. And this next picture here is showing off that feature. Of course, you can do that in the robot or the boombox mode, and if you want a closer up of that smirking head sculpt, there it is, and I think that looks pretty cool. And here's a picture of it, of course, in the boombox mode with that feature having Rewind in there. And Rewind is a minicon we've had before. I'm pretty sure it was the exact same one that came with the Shatterglass version. I'm pretty sure with the Kingdom version of Blaster, that was Eject, but with the Shatterglass version, that was Rewind. So I'm pretty sure the only change there is just the deco. It's more in this kind of foggy gray plastic, which I actually think is pretty cool, in my opinion. Moving on to some other pictures, of course, we have some battle poses. It does have a full 360 video. I'm actually going to post all of those on my channel, so if you want to see those and not have to go to Hasbro Pulse every time you want to see them, you can just go see them on my channel. Moving on to some other pictures, we actually do have a stock photo here of the boombox, and of course you have Rewind down there as well, if you want to see it. I'm actually really happy with I'm pretty sure, every single figure that they revealed today. I think they showed every single box, every single packaging art, which is super cool to see. So of course, we have him in his boombox mode on the front, Legacy Evolution. Of course, since this is Legacy Evolution, there will be an open way of displaying the figure in the packaging, so no plastic. And you can sort of see the side there. We have him in his orbit mode, which I think looks pretty cool. And on the back, I'm pretty sure the exact same number of steps as the previous two versions of this mold, 20 steps. And since this is Evolution, they actually do have an Evo Fusion gimmick, so I'm pretty sure this has something to do with the show this character was in. You can actually have the rifle act as sort of antenna sticking out the back if you want to, but I'm pretty sure that tab on the back is still there from the Kingdom Blaster and the Shatterglass Blaster, so if you don't want to do the antenna storage, you can still have it side to side, which is a little bit more flat against the body or the back of the boombox, which is pretty cool. But that is pretty much it for this figure or this character. I'm not going to spend that much time on each figure because there is a lot to cover, so I'm going to try and go a little bit faster because this video will be very long if I go in a ton of detail. But that's pretty much it for that character, so let's move on to the next. I'm just going to go back here. I do apologize if it's a little bit slow to updates because there's probably a lot of people on this website right now, so the Hasbro Pulse website might be a little bit slow. Moving on to the next Voyager class, here we have, let me see, let me close this. This will probably pop up a lot. But now for the next Voyager class, one sec, there we go. We have, this is actually one of the figures that was also leaked with Twincast. I actually did make a community post a few days ago. So a little bit of backstory. So people actually found a listing or a post on Big Bad Toy Store a little bit of a few days before Transformers Tuesday. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. And it was posted. It was this one, and of course Twincast. I'm pretty sure there was no pictures, but I think you could buy it. Funny enough, is the release date was actually February on there. Of course, it won't be February on Hasbro Pulse. They probably changed that, but it was posted and then it was taken down. Again, I don't think there was any images, but they did have the title. It was Metal Hawk and Twincast, and of course, as you can see here, there they are. So we did get sort of an early leak of these two, but the other ones, of course, are definitely a surprise. But as for this one, I actually really do like this one. So this Metal Hawk figure, a lot of people were really having guesses and suspicions about of what mold they were going to use for this. Was it going to be a brand new mold? Were they going to use like G-Axis or something like that? But this is actually using the Kingdom Cyclonus mold, which a lot of people really like that mold, and I really did like it too. I think it was probably one of my favorite figures of Kingdom, despite probably Galvatron or Dinobot. He was a pretty good figure, but let's of course get into the basic information. The release date is June 1st, 2023. And of course, the price is $35, the typical Voyager price. It is still available for pre-order. As for, of course, the details, as you can see, there is some major mold changes. I'm actually going to point out the similarities first, because there's really just a few, and the differences, of course, there is quite a bit. So, the main similarities, as you can see, the entire shoulder section here is, I'm pretty sure, completely unchanged. As for the wing, I think the mold of the wing is completely different. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been saying this. I'm not 100% certain myself, but I do think possibly the hand, the mold of the hand, I'm pretty sure is the same as Cyclonus. Of course, the color is completely different. Other than that, I think possibly maybe the top of the legs are slightly similar. These sections right here, but as for, of course, the chest, the head sculpt, the form, the wings, I'm pretty sure everything else is completely different. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I'm glad they used this mold. I think it's a pretty good one. Moving on to the next picture, we actually do have his jet mode, which I think looks super cool. I do apologize. I'm not that familiar with this character, but overall, I'm just going to say what I see, and I think it looks quite cool. So as for accessories, he comes with a sword and 2 blasters. The 2 blasters are here, and of course on the other side. And I actually really do like how the blasters form the other wing, which I think is pretty cool and creative. Of course, the sword storage isn't the best. I have to say this every time there's a figure with a sword. Typically, I cut quite a bit of slack with figures whenever they have a sword or a shield, because it's very hard to store a big accessory or a very odd shaped accessory like that, because blasters, usually they're quite small. You can attach them to the wings, you could attach them onto the back of the figure. Pretty easy to do. A shield and a sword, typically not the easiest, so I'm going to cut up a little bit of slack. It looks okay. As for the rest, as you can see, this looks very, very different from Cyclonus. If you don't have that figure, you have to look up a picture or a review. This looks quite different from that figure. I really liked Cyclonus' jet mode, probably one of my favorite jets of Transformers, period. And the figure they definitely nailed. Of course, if you have Cyclonus, we all knew there was sort of a problem, sort of a defect, I guess you could say, or a tight or connection tendency problem with it. I can't really think of the word right now, but so of course a lot of people knew whenever you would transform Cyclonus into his jet mode, these 2 little side pieces that were supposed to attach to the main body of the jet really didn't attach. There was typically a little bit of a gap where there shouldn't be. So hopefully on this figure, I don't think that problem will stay the same, because of course mold wise it's completely different. Hopefully it won't happen. I'm assuming it won't, but I'm just gonna mention it anyway. Moving, of course, on to the next pictures, we really just have a close-up of his face. I think that looks quite cool. And, of course, we have another picture of his robot mode. He has a sword and his blaster. I think that looks absolutely awesome. So, of course, the Evo Fusion gimmick with this figure is the blasters can stay separate, or you can combine them. I think I probably prefer the combined, because, of course, you can have the blasters in one hand and the sword in the other. And I'm pretty sure since this is a This, of course, is a repaint remold of Cyclonus. I'm pretty sure there is a port on his back where you can store the sword or the blaster, because that was the same for Cyclonus. He had a port or a mech-tech port on his back. That was mostly, of course, for the fossilizers at the time, but you could also store his blaster back there, so I think you can still do that feature with this, which is quite nice. And of course, moving on to the other pictures, we really just have some stock photos, and that is pretty much it for Metal Hawk. Overall, a very cool looking Voyager class figure. Definitely the more interesting of the two Voyagers between Twincast and Metal Hawk, so I definitely will be picking this up. I actually pre-ordered pretty much every single one of the figures in this line except one. I'll let you know why in just a sec. And just, of course, going back to the home page, I do apologize. It's a little bit slow, most likely because there is a lot of people probably on this website right now. And, of course, just scrolling down, hopefully it'll update and have the pictures in the right spots. Let me just close this. It's going to ask where I'm from every single time, I'm assuming. And let me just scroll down. There we go. So we're actually going to go straight to the leader. I'm going to, of course, go from the bigger figures to the smaller figures. So here we have the leader. So this is Skyquake. This is one we kind of knew about. There was some leaked pictures. We were a bit unsure when we were going to get this, because we also did have a leaked listing or a rumor that we were going to get in Armada Megatron. That is actually going to happen. I'll talk a little bit about the rumors and discussions at the very end of the video. Let's talk about Skyquake now. So, as I said before, we were 100% certain we were going to get Skyquake. We really just didn't know when we were going to get it, because there were leaked pictures. Of course, those could have been fake, so we were kind of taking it not 100% true, but it was probably going to happen. But here we have Skyquake. I think he looks so cool. Of course, a lot of people really like the Prime show, the Transformers Prime show, myself included. Of course, let's start with the basic information. The release date is May 1st, 2023. The price is $55. Of course, standard price for a leader. And, of course, let's get into the details. So here we have Skyquake in his robot mode. I think he looks absolutely amazing. So, of course, there was some slack with the previous Transformers Prime characters, because they did RC, they did Bulkhead, and those were definitely more modern stylized. They were very different. Of course, I think RC's alt mode was definitely more staying true to her Transformers Prime design. Of course, she didn't have her blasters. She had these kind of different energon infused blades, and of course, the legs were slightly different. The head sculpt definitely matched her Prime design, so there was a few modern interpretations. With Bulkhead, he did have his mace, but his alt mode was completely different from his big monster truck in the show. So there was definitely some differences here and there, but of course they did make a knockout, and that one was actually quite similar to the Prime design. I think they really didn't change that much. Of course, that was really a repaint, slight remold of the Studio Series Jazz, I'm pretty sure. So this one, I mentioned all that because this one actually really doesn't seem that stylized. I think they definitely stayed true to the Prime design. I think really the only change or big difference between the Prime and this one is the whole nose cone. Usually, of course, in the show you would see it like directly on his chest. I actually did have the original Transformers Prime Skyquake and Dreadwing. I actually sold them off quite a while ago because, of course, there was rumored pictures and leaks and stuff about this. So I was like, well, I don't need those, so I sold them off. And of course, that figure did have the entire nose cone on the chest. So I think really the only difference is that. Other than that, I think it looks quite similar to the show design and the previous figure. Of course, he has this huge giant Gatling gun, machine gun there. He has a sword. That really isn't 100% accurate, because I'm pretty sure in the Prime show, Skyquake did not have a sword. That was mostly Dreadwing's thing. And of course, we can assume, since Skyquake and Dreadwing were very close in resemblance, we will most likely get a Dreadwing very soon, maybe in Wave 3, maybe it'll be an exclusive pack, who knows. But as for the figure, I'm actually quite impressed. The head sculpt looks pretty cool, really cool kind of gunmetal gray silver, looks very menacing, and of course you can have him using his Gatling gun or machine gun. I think that looks awesome, definitely very accurate to the show. I'm hoping you can store the huge Gatling gun or machine gun on his back, and I also hope you can store the sword on his back as well. I really do hope you can do that. I haven't studied these pictures 100%, so maybe it shows it here somewhere, but from so far, like on the live stream and these pictures, I've skimmed through them, I really haven't seen that, but I do hope you can. That would be nice. As for, of course, the jet mode, I think it overall looks pretty cool. I think it could be a little bit bigger. Of course, they did have this in hand in the live stream, and just by the pictures, it does seem a little bit smaller. When I get in hand, it could be way bigger than I actually think. I do hope it is big because he was a pretty chunky, Decepticon in the show. He went head to head against Optimus, Dreadwing 2, and they were pretty big. They were decently sized Decepticons to fight against Optimus. So hopefully it'll be a pretty big figure. Um, I do actually want to go back a picture and we can actually look at the box. So this is actually our first leader of Legacy Evolution because we didn't get one in Wave 1, which is a bit unfortunate. I think maybe it wasn't ready or something, but here we have him and he looks very, very cool. So of course they're staying true to the Legacy packaging, like with the G2 Optimus Prime, Dragon Megatron, all those Blitzwing, where it's a closed box and the artwork looks super cool. I really do like that. The sword, you have him flying above. That looks super cool. And of course, we have him on the side as well. Really like that packaging. As for, of course, the back, we have the Evo Fusion gimmick, which is, I'm pretty sure, they briefly showed it in the live stream. You can actually get the sword folded up and you can store it inside the Gatling gun, which I was not expecting that. To be quite honest, when they were rumoring this, I did not even expect Skyquake to even come with the sword. I thought his only accessory was going to be the Gatling gun, and that's it. I really was not expecting a sword, so I am pleasantly surprised. And also, to be honest, again, I really probably could have gone without the sword because I don't even think he uses it in the show. That was, again, mostly Dreadwing's thing. Also, you can combine Needle Nose and Skyquake if you want to. I'm not really sure what reference this is to. I know it's not in Prime. Maybe it was from a different version or show this character was in. I'm not that familiar with that. But it's a gimmick you can do. That's the other Evo Fusion gimmick. And whenever I get this figure, I'll make sure to show it in the review. But that is pretty much it for Skyquake. There's a lot of pictures with this figure. Overall, very, very impressed. Let's actually move on to the deluxes. I'm actually going to start with the one I didn't get. I will get it sometime, but I just didn't pre-order it. So let's move up to the deluxes. And let's start with the first one. This one, by far, is probably my least favorite of this wave. I just have to say it now because it is kind of cheap and lazy. Because we already got a Twincast, which that one really is just a repaint, slight remold of Blaster, and this one is just a straight up repaint. It's a mixture of, I'm pretty sure, Burnout and Skids into one figure. And I like those two molds. I like those two figures. They're good figures, but I think they could have probably saved this figure maybe for an exclusive line, or maybe they could have put it in the Velocitron line, an Amazon exclusive, something like that. Because for the main line is really mostly supposed to be brand new molds. And yeah, I'm fine that they did Twincast because that has some new molding. This one, I'm pretty sure, as of what I know, is just a straight up repaint. And again, I do like this mold. It's a good mold in my opinion. I know Skids has a lot of crap. A lot of people really don't like it for some reason. Yes, there is some waffling on the inside of the legs. I'm fine with it. I think it's still a pretty cool car. I will give this mold and this figure a huge plus because this is definitely a perfect figure. If you want a figure to like fiddle with at your desk at work or something, or in your room that you just don't want to transform something complicated, get a figure or any mold of this one. Get get Crosscut, get Skids, get Burnout, any version. Get that, and it's so easy to transform. It's really fun, not that complex, and it's really fun to do. You can transform it back and forth. I can transform in like 5 seconds. It's so fun, so easy, and it's actually really nice to have a simple transformation like that. So this is a good figure. I just think it's definitely the least interesting of the bunch. There's some much better figures in this wave, and again, I think they probably should have saved this for maybe the Velocitron line or maybe an Amazon exclusive, because typically Amazon exclusives are either repaints or, of course, maybe there's a slight mold change, like a new accessory or a slight change in the head sculpt. That's pretty much it. So I think they probably could have put this somewhere else and included a different deluxe. I think that would have been nice. But overall, it's pretty cool. Let's get into the basic information. Release date is May 1st, 2023. Of course, there is a price of $25, typical standard price for a deluxe size figure. And of course, if you don't already know, this is just a straight up repaint of Skids and of course Burnout. The head sculpt is from Burnout, and of course the main body is from Skids. I do know there is another version of this mold, Crankcase. I don't think there's any pieces from that version or that mold in this one. I don't think any pieces have wound up here. It would actually be pretty cool if they could have mixed all those versions together, Skids, Crankcase, Burnout, and put it into one. That would be kind of cool to see. I don't know if they could do that, but as for the other mode, overall, it looks okay. what is kind of funny, if you didn't watch the live stream, one of the designers said, I first was not wanting to do the wheels a solid red, but then they said, I actually like it now. My personal opinion, I kind of wish they did not do the red wheels. It looks kind of unfinished. It looks a bit weird to me, and I've actually watched other people's comments and reactions to this figure, and a lot of people have said the same thing as me. They don't like the solid red wheels. I don't like it either. It looks kind of unfinished. It looks like the plastic was red, and they just forgot to paint it. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you like it. I don't really like it, in my opinion. I think it would have been nice maybe if the wheels were like that dark gray from the grill in the front, or maybe the blue. Um, from the Energon infused axe, something like that, or silver. I don't know, something else. I think I would have liked more. That's just my opinion. As for the accessories, I'm pretty sure they are the exact same three that came with the original skids. So of course the Energon infused axe, the double barrel blaster, and the pistol. I think the only change, of course, is paint apps wise. This one's done in red, and I'm pretty sure the other pistol's also done in red. And yeah, just flipping right here, you can combine them as usual. I do like the head sculpt, and the overall deco is pretty cool. I'd say probably my main complaint is just it's kind of a cheap, weak way to put one in the main line. It kind of says to me like, oh, we ran out of time to make one in wave 2. I don't know. Maybe there's some reason. Also, I don't like the wheels. I don't like them. Maybe I'll grow onto it. Maybe when I get the figure in hand, I'm like, oh yeah, I like it. As I see it here, it just looks weird to me. That's just my opinion. But overall, that's pretty much it for figure picture-wise. Moving on to the packaging, I'm actually really glad. I'm pretty sure every single figure they showed the packaging for, which I'm actually really happy. Usually they don't do that. It could just be me. Some people do not give a crap about the packaging. I keep the packaging most of the time, and I really like it. So, of course, we have Crosscut on the front with all of his weapons. He's on the side. Unfortunately, they never really show the side of the box, which I really wish they did. Of course, we have him in there, and the whole QR code to scan for the stats, if you're wondering. Since this is Legacy Evolution, it's on the top now. With the Legacy, it was on the back of the box. And on the back, since this is a Skids repaint, sort of redeco, this is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same number of steps for transformation. It's 14 steps, and they actually sort of did a clever thing. So in Legacy, of course, the main gimmick was the Energon infused weapons, like the axes. Blitzwing had his gauntlets. And this one, of course, it's the Evo Fusion gimmick. So they just used that whole combining weapon feature from Skids and just made that the feature, which I guess is a good use. It's kind of, again, a little bit cheap, but I guess it's kind of cool. Moving on to the next deluxe, it's actually Prowl. So we kind of knew about this one for a while. I'm pretty sure there's actually video reviews out for this guy, so no one really was surprised by this. I actually really like it. I'm hoping I'll be able to find... I actually do have the original Prowl somewhere in my collection. One second, it needs to load. There we go. I'm somewhere in my collection. I have the original animated Prowl. I don't know where. I'm hopefully going to be able to find it. Maybe I'll try and review it before this, just to have a comparison. I don't know if I still have it. I'm pretty sure I do. But again, this one really wasn't a surprise because there were some leaked pictures. I'm pretty sure there's several reviews of people having stolen copies of it. So, not really surprised. But of course, the basic information. Release date is May 1st, 2023. Price is $25, and actually surprisingly still available. I was thinking of all the ones in the entire wave of this set, this was going to sell out. So I do like this figure. This looks very cool. I do think the proportions are very off. It's just something about the head sculpt with the proportions of the chest, the arms, and the legs. He just looks a bit weird. Like his head seems too big, the chest seems too small, and the legs and the arms seem normal. So really, it's mostly the chest and the head. The head seems way too big. The chest seems too small. I know they were supposed to go for more of a ninja stealth vibe, and I got that. I know he was definitely very ninja-like in the show, and I think they definitely achieved that. I think the head sculpt, just design-wise, looks good. Size-wise and proportion-wise, I think it's off. Of course, I don't have it in hand, so I could think the complete opposite when I get this figure in hand. But from videos and pictures, it just seems a bit weird to me. I don't know. That could just be me. Moving on to the next picture, of course, we have this really cool motorcycle. I have zero complaints here. This looks super cool. Really like that. I've always liked a good motorcycle. And of course, just another stock, simple picture. And if you're wondering, he does come with his really cool shurikens, which can store on his legs. I'm really glad they kept that feature. And I'm pretty sure you can also put them in his hands. Yeah, okay. You can put them in his hands, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping there's like a set way you can actually put them in, because I'm pretty sure with the original version, when I had it, I had the instructions. They never really show how to put them in his hand. You were just like, you just kind of shove it in there and hope for the best that it stays. So hopefully there's like a tab or a slot or something and it actually stays. But overall, that looks super cool. I'm actually really glad they kept that same feature of the blades kind of folding in. That was always super cool. I really did like that. And another picture of the motorcycle mode. Of course, we do have the police lights on the back. That's pretty cool. Overall, a pretty good motorcycle. I think I can see he does have, if you're wondering, he does have a kickstand. That's always something to look for me, because they've done motorcycles before with no kickstand, and I think that's kind of dumb. So I do look for that typically, and I'm glad he does. I'm glad he does. It helps posability and pictures, images, poses, just display options. It helps it a lot more. And overall, a pretty good figure. Of course, I'm just going to quickly show the box. We do have Prowl in his really cool looking motorcycle mode. And if you are wondering, you can store, I'm pretty sure, the shuriken blades. I think you can store them on the front and the back possibly, or it might just be the front. I'm not 100% sure about that. But he looks really cool in his motorcycle mode. Of course, you can see him in the box. There's an image on the side. We do have Animated Universe Prowl. Hopefully, this is the first of many to come. I would actually really like to see maybe an animated Omega Supreme or Megatron. Honestly, the list is endless. They could do, they could do all of the animated Seekers. They love doing Seekers. They did all the Earthrise ones. They did the Siege ones. They could do all the animated Seekers. I would love that. I have a whole Seeker shrine going. I could go for that. That would be pretty cool. Let me actually go back. I need to show the back of the box for you guys, just to show if you're interested with the number of steps. He transforms in 20 steps. I think that's pretty good for a deluxe size figure. And the Evo Fusion gimmick for this figure is, of course, the Shuriken. It can, turn from the circle piece to the Shuriken. And, as you can see there, I think it can store. I'm not sure. It might be stored on the front wheel or the back. It might. Yeah, I think it's on the back there. So, overall, I'm quite impressed. Again, proportion-wise, just by pictures and videos, it seems a little bit off to me. That could just be me. I don't know. Hopefully, in hands, it'll be a little bit different. I'm hoping this isn't like I'm hoping this isn't like Point Blank and Peacemaker all over again, because Point Blank, his proportions were so bad. The positions of his legs were just horrible. So, moving on to the next one, we actually have an Insecticon, which this was a surprise. I was not expecting an Insecticon. I know we did have a listing or a leak of this figure. No pictures or anything, but we did have some listings inside. I think it was like Target system or Walmart system or something like that. And like codes, like the codes for them, but we never really had a 100% idea of what wave it was going to be in. So this was a surprise to me. I'm actually really glad we got one of these. So, it's been quite a long time. Our first Insecticon, of course, was Kickback. That was a long time ago. That was the first wave of Legacy, and I think that was actually my first Legacy figure I got. So here we have our next one. It's the Transformers Legacy Evolution Shrapnel. And of course, we have one to go. I'd actually really hope maybe the next one, maybe it will be in Wave 3. We're not really sure how many waves are going to be of Legacy Evolution. It might just be 3. It might go to 4 or 5. We really don't know. Price is $25, of course. Release date May 1st. Just make sure I say that. And this is actually sold out, which I'm kind of surprised. I was really expecting Prowl to be the main one, the first one that was going to be out of stock. I did pre-order this one 100%. This one looks amazing in my opinion. Looks very G1 and not really that stylized. Of course, they did do some stylized versions of some characters, like Prowl's head sculpt and the animated figure. Not 100% accurate to the show. It's pretty close to it. I think it was more kind of oval shaped. It's a little bit more boxy with the figure, so it's a little bit different. This one does seem very G1 accurate. So of course, we do have his bug mode. Not sure the exact name of this insect. I don't really know, but overall looks pretty cool. Of course, we have the entire kind of tusk pieces. I think those are Blast Effect piece compatible. He does have a blaster, which looks quite cool. And of course, another picture there. Another picture of his insect mode. And a battle pose there. So he does come, I guess, technically with one blaster, but there's sort of two other ones you can act as accessories if you want to. So moving on to the box, I'll talk about the accessories in just a sec because it actually shows it on the back. But of course, the box art looks super cool. It's actually him kind of flying or attacking at you. There's a really cool open window displaying the figure in the packaging. Of course, it's kind of funny because this will probably be a smaller figure. I'm assuming this will probably be, Netflix Bumblebee size, Cliff Jumper size, around there. Maybe Cosmo size if you have that figure. Hopefully you do. But on the back, of course, his Evo Fusion gimmick, which I think this is kind of cool. You actually can get the front, or I think it's the back legs of the insect, and actually form this really cool huge weapon right there. Hopefully you can see that. So those two purple pieces are actually the back insect legs right there, and you can attach it to his silver weapon and form this huge Evo Fusion weapon. I do like in concept, I do like it. Of course, the weapon combined doesn't look the greatest. It looks a bit odd because it's like purple, silver, purple. Looks a bit odd in my opinion. But overall, the concept, the feature, the option of doing it is nice. Most likely, I'll probably just have him holding the standalone silver weapon and just keep those two purple pieces on the back of his arms. That's just my opinion. Um, it actually transforms in 11 steps. That's very few steps. I had not seen that yet. That's pretty easy transformation. So overall, that is it for Shrapnel. Quite impressed. 100% I ordered that one. Moving on to the next deluxe class figure. I think this is actually the last one. One sec. It just needs to load. Again, probably quite slow because a lot of people aren't here doing their shopping. There we go. There we go. So moving on, I'm pretty sure this is the last deluxe class figure. It might be, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's up. Yeah, we have the Junkion. So this is one that's actually been talked about for quite a while now. This was actually kind of like Prowl, where there was a lot of leaked pictures, a few videos here and there, and we were like, okay, so what is his name? Actually, that was a huge debate. A lot of people are like, okay, so we're just gonna call this Junkion 2. A lot of people were just saying it's Junkion 2. So we finally have a name. It's Crashbar. So this one actually looks pretty cool. I do have to admit, though, probably between the two, I still like the original. I'm completely blanking on his name right now, but the Junkion that came out in Legacy Evolution Wave 1. I'll remember after the video, of course, but you know what I'm talking about. I like that one more. That's just my opinion. I like all the spikes and the Mad Max style stuff. But with this one, it still looks pretty cool. Of course, we do have definitely a very Junkion style design. Of course, the both legs are completely different, not symmetrical whatsoever. The chest is slightly identical in design, and the head sculpt looks pretty cool. I think they probably should have done some more, mismatched, non-symmetrical design, because the chest is completely identical. The head sculpt seems too neat. That could just be me saying that from the previous one, because the previous one had tons of damage. There was little patches. He had like an eye patch. Tons of spikes and stuff. So maybe that's the only reason why I'm saying it. But when I think of Junkion, that's kind of my standard now. I don't know, but it would have been nice maybe if he was a little bit more crazy. But overall, looks pretty cool. He actually has some blasters sticking out his shoulders. Of course, in the back, he transforms, or on the next picture, he transforms into a very cool motorcycle. This looks very, very cool, in my opinion. Really cool spikes. Of course, we have this. His foot actually becomes the entire back, which I think is pretty cool. I'm assuming you can probably fit some figures there. I'm assuming. Maybe it says if there's like a feature like that in the description. I don't really know, but overall, a really cool looking motorcycle. Moving on to the next picture. Really just a close up of his face. He actually does come with some really cool blasters that are in his hands. All quite nice. I'm not sure if those two on the back are removable. I haven't studied these pictures enough, but overall, a very cool motorcycle. Hopefully this comes with a kickstand, as always. Hopefully it does. I haven't seen one yet. And moving on to some more pictures, really just some stock photos here. And moving to the box, that looks super cool. This is motorcycle like jumping in the air. We have Crashbar. Of course, there's a picture on his side. The open window showing the picture, the figure on the packaging. And on the back, of course, we have a lot of product shots. He transforms in 15 steps. A product shot of the robot motorcycle. And of course, you can do the Evo Fusion gimmick. and combine it with Scraphook. I finally remember the name. Definitely didn't just read the back of the box, but Scraphook. That's what I've been meaning to say. I like Scraphook more than this one. That's just my opinion. I think the war torn look looks really good on him, and I kind of wish they continue that with this one, but I guess not. I do like though this really cool kind of shuriken and blade thing. I've yet to see that many pictures of it. I was hoping they would have some more, but oh wait, maybe that was it. Maybe I missed it. I'm gonna go back. Think maybe that was it. No? Okay. I thought they showed it somewhere, but I guess maybe I missed it. But yeah, he has a really cool kind of shuriken blade thing, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's probably his front wheel or something like that becomes that, which I think is a pretty cool weapon. So I think they definitely did keep up the standard like with Scrapbook. He comes with a ton of accessories. You know, there's two huge cannons, these two on his back, the whole shuriken blade thing. So definitely, I think they kept it the standard. I think it's both. I think they're both worth the same price. Again, really just my personal preference. I like the other one more, but still in stock. So if you want this one, I highly suggest you get it. Hopefully, it comes with a kickstand. Haven't seen one yet, but overall pretty cool. Not the most interesting of the bunch, but still pretty cool. Definitely more interesting than cross cut. And moving on to the core classes, I'm pretty sure that was the last deluxe. And core classes actually did sort of come by a surprise. So, moving on to the first one, just moving down here, we have Nemesis Prime. So, this was actually kind of a surprise, of course, nothing crazy. It is just a direct repaint of the Kingdom Optimus Prime, and I'm pretty sure that thing was repacked several times. So, if you can't find it, you will be able to find it pretty fast. So, it is just a direct repaint of the Kingdom Optimus Prime, and I think they repacked it in Legacy. And they'll probably repack it in Legacy Evolution. But of course, the release date is June 1st, 2023. I'm assuming with most of these, they'll probably be sooner because this is just a repaint. The only newly molded piece or newly included piece is that battle axe. So if you're like, what? Why would that be so long? It's just a repaint. This probably will be a lot sooner. Same goes for probably the Blaster Twincast. I'm assuming he'll probably be sooner because he is just Blaster but with a brand new head sculpt. So that one will probably be sooner. That one is June for some reason. I would think of all of them, this one and Twincast would be May or sooner of all of them. But of course, price is $12. Release is June 1st, 2023. And the figure itself actually looks pretty cool. I always like a good Nemesis Prime. I am actually really glad they included the really cool battle axe, which they actually kind of hurt themselves here. So I do like the blue, metallic blue silver battle axe. It looks cool. But in a way, it kind of makes us want an Energon axe for the Kingdom one. So maybe, hopefully, they'll include that somewhere in like a weapons pack. Like they did the Centurion drone. They did the Kingdom Trichronicus Blast Effect pack piece. So maybe they'll do one of those with Legacy Evolution, and it will come with that. That would be a pretty good idea. And moving on to the Trucker mode, the exact same thing as the Kingdom one, just in a matte black, silver, and metallic blue. I think that overall looks pretty cool. We do have the packaging, and this makes me also want a trailer. That'd be so cool if these had come with like a little mini trailer, because in this one, it actually has his trailer attached. That'd be so cool if these had come with it. I know it's just a core class, so I'm probably expecting way too much. Um, and of course, you do have to be aware the Kingdom Optimus Prime, he came with a blaster. This one, I'm pretty sure, does not come with his typical, like, ion, pistol blaster thing. So I think the only accessory you're going to get is the axe, which to some people might be like, absolutely, that's fine. Some people are like, no, it has to have the blaster. Really just, personal preference. Honestly, if they had made this like $15 and it had come with a little mini trailer or a blaster too, I would have absolutely paid that. That would have been pretty cool. And of course, a close-up of the box. And the back of the box. 11 steps. Pretty sure the same as the previous Kingdom one. So do have a question or a bit of a worry. So of course, the previous Kingdom Optimus Prime didn't come with an axe, and you could store the blaster on the truck bed. So this one, I'm not sure if they're going to do a mold change to be able to store the axe. Maybe hopefully there'll be some storage, maybe on the truck bed. And if you're wondering how to store the axe in the remote, if you're interested, like, whoa, do they remold the hand or anything? No, these whole port things right here are the exact same as on the Kingdom one. You just flip the hand in and you just plug it in there. You can actually see the hand is sticking out right there. So it's no molding change to add or to change for the battle axe. Maybe there'll be some for the legs for the truck bed. Hopefully, it would be nice if there was some storage. But if I were to be truthfully honest, I don't think there will be. As for the next one, this really does not come as a surprise whatsoever. We have a Thundercracker. This is just a direct repaint of the Kingdom Starscream, and I'm actually really happy because, as I said in the previous, with the animated Prowl, I have like a Seeker Shrine going. I have all the Siege ones, all the Earthrise ones, and I would actually really like if they continue the Seeker collection. If they did like the Rainmakers, if they did the cone heads, that would be so cool to see. I'd actually really like that. Maybe people are sick of them. Me personally, I'm fine with it. So, um, release date is June 1st, 2023. This is another figure where I'm like, why would this be June of all? This is literally just a direct repaint of Starscream. You know, sometimes they would do like a different head sculpt. Like, I'm pretty sure Skywarp, he has like a yelling head sculpt, but Starscream, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same as this one. So I really don't know why this is June. It'll probably be sooner. I'm assuming most of these will probably be sooner than May and June. I'm assuming maybe they'll be like April or even sooner. But of course, price is $12, June 1st, and as of mold wise, it is the exact same thing as Starscream, as of what I know. Just of course a complete redeco. It's done that silver, blue, and black design, which is pretty cool. Which this kind of hurts Hasbro more than they would like because we all know Starscream came with his null race. You know, Thundercracker is going to come with his null race, but Skywarp doesn't. So that really hurts. Of course, if you're going to have a whole Seeker collection, you know, if they keep making these, it's going to keep hurting them even more because you're going to have, like, you know, for example, like 7 core class Seekers, you know, all the cone heads, the original 3, but one of them is not going to have the null race, Skywarp. And the worst of all for me is Skywarp's actually my favorite Seeker, and he's not going to have his null race. So that's another thing I'd actually really like them to do is they could do, honestly, this 2 ways. I'll take a look at this figure just a sec, but they could really do this 2 ways. They could repack Skywarp into Legacy Evolution and not include that little blaster, but include the null race. That's one way they could make some profit. Or a second way is not repack it and just do like the same as I said before, just like a whole little battle pack or a little accessory pack, kind of like this Centurion drone where it comes, like, you know, with Kingdom Optimus Prime's Energon Axe. It comes with Skywarp's null rays, so on and so on. There's a ton of stuff they could put in there. So hopefully someday in some way, shape, or form they could do it. I do know there's a third-party upgrade kit for it. I don't really do third parties. Typically they're overpriced for what you get. So hopefully Hasbro someday will include them. That would be nice. But as it is, as this, no complaints. It looks pretty cool. Again, Skyrim has always been my favorite Seeker, so it's cool. It's cool. And of course, we have the box here. It looks pretty cool with him and his jet mode, shooting his lasers with his null rays. And on the back of the box, 17 steps, which it's a pretty good amount for a core class figure. I was always surprised by how kind of complex and how the engineering was so advanced for such a small figure. Also, if you're worried, because I do know there were several product pictures and images when they were showing the live stream with Thundercracker with just one null ray. Do not be worried. He does come with 2. If you can actually see right there, there is another one on his shoulder and one on that one. So he does come with 2. Don't be worried. He does come with 2. That would be kind of dumb and ridiculous if he only had 1. Moving on to the last core class figure, it is actually a Dinobot, which is pretty exciting. This one, I wouldn't say is a surprise. We knew we were going to get one. We just didn't really know what exact Dinobot it was going to be. We have Grimlock, the king of the Dinobots. So this is definitely new territory, because when we learned about the the Volcanicus core class commander, we were like, okay, of course, Grimlock is going to be the chest, the torso, the head, but No, he does not. So he is actually a leg. I'm not sure if it was like the left or right, but maybe you can do either. I mean, it might be compatible. I'm not really sure. But of course, starting off with the basic information, he's a core class, so price is $12, release date is June 1st. Another figure that I think will probably be sooner because they take a lot less time to build, they're quite small. As of the figure, it's pretty cool. It definitely resembles Grimlock. I really do like the gold on the chest, and the head sculpt 100% resembles Grimlock. I do have some problems though. Unfortunately, it does appear that it's going to keep that same theme of very, minimal articulation, very simplified figures. As you can see, he does not have an elbow bend. I do think he actually has a wrist rotation. You can actually see there is a swivel or a joint right there where my cursor is, if you can see. So I do think he has a swivel joint for his wrist. That probably isn't the main purpose. That probably has something to do with the transformation, either for the Dinobot mode, or the T-Rex mode, or the combined mode. So it's still there. I'm glad it's included. Again, probably not the main purpose of that joint being there, but I'm still glad it's included. I would still like an elbow bend to be included. It's a bit unfortunate. I don't think there is one from what I can see. He does have a knee bend. You can actually see his leg is bent, which is nice. And an ankle pivots probably is absent on it as well. He does come with an accessory, which is good. That was probably my main complaint with Sludge that I recently reviewed. He does not come with any accessory, which I'm like, seriously. So I'm glad this one comes with one. Hopefully this has like a secret use, like Slug. Slug has a blaster, but it's also Volcanicus's head, and the other piece becomes like his stomach. So this might be a use of like maybe his hand, maybe Volcanicus's hand or something like that, or a jetpack or something. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out. Another complaint of mine is I don't really like all this junk on the back of his head. That doesn't look the greatest. Which, of course, with stock photos and early photos like these, this could be mistransformed. I always do say that. Do make sure you're aware. Typically, there is some way, shape, or form. Most figures are mistransformed in photos like these, so this could be different. Maybe not a huge drastic change, but who knows. But, of course, we have his T-Rex mode. Not really that many complaints with this. I actually really do like, you can actually see there's some nut and bolt design. Um, I actually just noticed this now. It does not look like he can open his mouth, which is a bit unfortunate because you can see the teeth are sculpted in, and it doesn't look like there's any gap or crease or crevice there. So I don't think he can open his mouth, which is unfortunate. I could be wrong, but from the picture, it doesn't look like he can. As for the rest, he has his little dino arms, which are pretty cute. He does have his tail, which is quite ugly. I'm pretty sure those are his legs folded up, so quite a bit of kibble. So you probably will have to realize with these core class Dinobots, be a lot less picky, and the articulation is going to be a lot less, and there's probably going to be quite a bit of kibble in most areas. Like, of course, as you can see, not that great of a tail. Moving on to the packaging, a very cool T-Rex mode, and this is kind of just mocking us. His mouth can open. I do hope I'm wrong. I really do hope his T-Rex mouth can open. That would be really nice. But as for, of course, just the picture alone of the box, overall pretty cool. On the back, he transforms in 10 steps, and of course, this is 3 of 6. We have 3 to go, 2 arms, 1 leg. To go for this Volcanicus combiner. I am very interested in two things. I'm hoping that the connection between the main torso and the leg is very secure, because in the video they showed him transforming into they transformed him into the leg. Again, probably compatible with either side. Don't really know if it matters, but it seemed a very fast transformation. Hopefully it's a really secure connection, because with the connection between Sludge and Slug, it was very secure, so I'm hoping they keep up that theme. Another thing I'm interested in is how are they going to do the hands? Are they just going to be, sculpted in little, holes like the usual cheap way for deluxes? Or are they going to have like articulated fingers? Or who knows? Maybe we'll find out. That'd be pretty cool. I'm assuming we're going to get Swoop or Snarl next, and maybe Slash as the last one. We really do not know, but that is pretty much it for the Legacy Evolution. I do know they released Scourge for Rise of the Beast in the Studio Series line. He's actually right here. I'm going to do a separate video of that, because I'm pretty sure this video is already long enough, probably too long. I tried to be as fast as I could. that is it for this Transformers Tuesday Legacy Wave 2 video. Let me know your thoughts on all these figures in the comment section down below. If I were to pick my favorite, it would probably be Skyquake. My least favorite would probably be Crosscut, most likely. That's just my opinion. Let me know your favorite and least favorite figure in the comment section down below. Just let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with some of my points, like the core class is not the greatest? Do you wish or do you hope that they should have done a different deluxe with Crosscut? Do you think the proportions for Prowl are right, or am I just crazy? I don't know. Let me know all that in the comment section down below. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you.